What's up HMV, this is S.U. Lewis and I'm going to take you through 5 records that have helped shape me as a music fan and as an artist and a creator of music, and just 5 records I love really and just love listening to at home. So to start with, let's go with D'Angelo, Black Messiah. So huge D'Angelo fan, and this was, I must admit actually, I only got into D'Angelo once Black Messiah came out and then kind of went backwards, and now he's probably one of my top 3 artists to ever have existed. But I just feel like D'Angelo records are those records that you put on at home and they're a comfort blanket for me, you know, they're just like that. They have such a specific atmosphere and a feel to them that whenever I'm just chilling at home, whether I'm cooking some food or whether I'm kind of trying to unwind after a long day, I always reach for D'Angelo records. So Black Messiah is definitely up there for me, and I think it's an incredible record. Next up we have Roy Ayers, Everybody Loves the Sunshine. So I think most people will know this record. I think it was in Boys in the Hood, is it? Anyway, in the NWA film, there's a scene where he's lying on the bed as well. Anyway, this is just like an amazing soul album. I think, like, you know, the instrumentation is so incredible, and there's so many melodic hooks and interesting movements in the instrumentation that just keep the listening experience very immersive and very interesting, and I think it kind of puts you in a slight dreamlike state sometimes, some of the music. But again, it's one of those records that I just kind of put on as a bit of a comfort record at home. I think a lot of the records that I go back to a lot tend to be those records. But I think that as an artist, it's kind of made me want to focus on those intrinsic details of instrumentation, you know, and to find hooks and things within the production that are equally as interesting as the lyrics and the vocal line. So, next up we have Tame Impala, Lonerism. I mean, I'm the biggest Kevin Parker fan going. I literally worship the guy. I wouldn't even say that Lonerism is my favourite Tame Impala record necessarily, and it does change all the time. But I think there's something to be said about kind of like singularity of vision. I think that like one person in the studio by themselves doing as many things as Kevin Parker does means that the end result is a very, the intention is very specific, I think, when making music. And I think as an artist, it made me want to look inside of myself more rather than looking outwards for collaboration and inspiration all the time. I love this photo on the back of, you know, he's just lying down with his bass guitar amongst like all this madness, and there's this like wine and beer on the desk and stuff, and I mean that's usually what a lot of my process looks like actually. But yeah, if you listen to this album enough, you start to hear it in 3 dimensions, I swear. There's this little psychedelic moments in it that, depending on what state of mind you're in, you can kind of just warp and change, and I think that there's some magic going on in whatever Kevin Parker's doing there, somewhere in that mind of his. But Lonerism, Tame Impala. This is the very best of Hall & Oates, which I know is a bit of a sin to have a best of or a greatest hits, but I think my parents bought me this like years and years ago. But this record I'm obsessed with, not only because of the moustache and hairdos going on, but I think the reason that Hall & Oates have lasted forever is songwriting. I think that at the end of the day, you know, whether the like production styles come and go and trends come and go, but songs last forever, and I think that these are some of the best songwriters of the last 50 years, you know. I think that there's just so many songs that even if you don't know Hall & Oates, you recognise the songs, you know. There's things like Man Eater and Rich Girl and You Make My Dreams. These are songs that soundtrack movies and moments, and I just think song is king, and I think that listening to Hall & Oates makes me want to be a better songwriter and to focus on the songwriting above anything else and forget the frills for a moment. So, Hall & Oates, great hair. Last record I have is, it's actually an edit of this song, but it's I Want to Thank You by Alicia Myers, which is just one of my favourite kind of disco era tracks. It's such a iconic kind of chugging bassline intro that was it was sampled by Busta Rhymes as well, quite famously, but it's just got such a amazing celebratory feel to it as well. There's someone once said to me that worship music that's kind of in tribute to like a higher power in this instance, you know, a god, or kind of in a religious sense, has some kind of other magic to it, because the person that's making it is like giving themselves to something that they believe to be bigger than themselves. I'm not personally religious, but I've always thought about that, you know, it's like, why do gospel choirs sound as incredible as they do, and why is there so much amazing music rooted in religion and belief of something else? And I think that it doesn't necessarily have to mean religion, it can be spirituality or whatever, but there's just like a real joy and celebration and gratefulness in, well, the song's called I Want to Thank You by Alicia Myers, and this is actually an edit on Contemporary Records, which is basically much better for the clubs. But and that's that. I hope you enjoyed the records, and hopefully can get hold of a few of them.